And one thing that some people don't understand the concept of when it's paying it forward or serving the community that you've been elected to serve. You know, there's this thin line between that support, you know, and the support grew over the past year because people realized that in order to see a change in the community, you have to be willing to help support that change. So last year, the United Foundation of Central Florida, which is Ms. Sandra Fatmy, Mr. Dennis Hall, Ms. Myra Johnson, and some other board members that weren't able to make it tonight, they pledged $10,000 in scholarship money to students at Evans High School. And in that, they ended up raising $10,800. So they went over what they planned to raise. And myself, I'm a recipient of one of those scholarships. And I received $3,500 to pay for Morehouse College. It was that $3,500 that they raised for us that made it possible for me to go to Morehouse College. For those of you who don't know, Morehouse College costs almost $50,000 a year. Okay, that's a house. I'm buying a house. Okay, I'm buying a new Mercedes. Okay, I'm buying a car or whatever. But you know, and I couldn't go because of some issues that I had when it came to academically around my sophomore year. I didn't do too good in high school, and that's something they look at. So they said, you're gonna have to come to this summer program, you know, and that's the only way that you're gonna make it here to Morehouse College. Because the rest of your grades are phenomenal, but if at any point in time you didn't produce at the best quality, you know, we're gonna have to test you. We're gonna have to see if you're ready for it. So this program used to be free, and they made it $3,500. And I didn't have the money because I already had to pay $588 just to get admitted to the college. You know, so it was a struggle to get that from my father for him to raise that money there. And so I didn't have that $3,500, and I went to Miss Sandra and everybody else that was on the board, and I said, hey guys, I applied to so many schools, got accepted to all of them. But the one school that I want to go to, I'm not sure if I'm going to get accepted. And if I do, I don't know how I'm going to afford it. So it was that $3,500 that was raised by the people in the community and Ms. Sandra and all of the amazing board members. They raised this money and they sent it off to Morehouse College's pre-freshman summer enrichment program. And I went not knowing what to expect. You know, Morehouse challenged me academically, personally, at every step of the way. And I went through that summer program and I came out with amazing grades. I turn around and they say, Julien O'Neil, you've been accepted to what's known as the Bonner Foundation, which is the community service office at Morehouse College. They issue scholarships to 15 students per academic year, based off of their academic performance and their commitment to service. And I was granted $13,000 per semester. And then because of that, I was given an extra $5,000 for Morehouse College. And then after that, I was given $1,200 more dollars. And then they just kept giving me money because they said you did phenomenal in a program that I wouldn't have been able to go to if people didn't see something in me. Right? So I went from having to worry about that $50,000 to not having to worry about it at all. It cost 5 stacks. I'm not paying any of it. Okay? And I sit there and I think about that, and I'm like, you know what? This could be so many more students. Like, you could ask people that know me from when I was in middle school. I'm not the same person that I was then. In middle school, I was labeled as a bad kid, always in the administration office, just getting in trouble. And it took one teacher to say, Julien, I need you to have as much faith in yourself that we have in you. We see you being a leader one day, and you need to be able to act like it. And so that jump from middle school to high school, my character completely changed. Committed myself to service in the community. You know, and when I tell you a lot of sacrifices were made, I'll be a little transparent with you. Throughout my life, I struggled through a lot of issues with my parents being off and on, and you know, my mother, my mother not really being around at the time for the fact that, you know, she was addicted to drugs or whatever. So I only had a one-parent household my entire life. My father ended up getting laid off around towards the end of my junior year, and he couldn't even afford to stay where we lived. We lived right off of Pine Hills, and we couldn't stay there. So my uncle opened up his house. He said, "You can stay here for as long as you can." And my father went over to Sanford, and so I couldn't no longer stay with my uncle at that point. So it was either, you know, try to figure out what I can do, because I wanted to finish at Evans High School, because I committed myself to that school like no other has ever. And I wanted to graduate from there. And I told Miss Sandra and I told everybody else what was going on. So it got to a point in which I was homeless. And then I had to actually move with my dad all the way to Sanford. So now I had to wake up at 4 o'clock every morning just to take the Sunrail, to take the city bus, to get to Evans High School by 7:30. And then I didn't get to leave home, and the last Sunrail, if you guys don't know, runs at 9:32. And majority of the time I would miss that Sunrail. So I would have to stay waiting for my dad to come all the way from Sanford with his now fiance, who took him in when we had nothing. So I would either have to wait for them, or Miss Sandra or whomever would come. "Where are you at, Julian? Where are you at?" You know, and they would take me from Pine Hills to Sanford. Mr. Hankins at Evans High School did it as well. Destiny Wall back there did it as well. You know, and they all took me, Miss Sandra, all of them, brought me from Sanford to Pine Hills whenever I needed to. And I made that sacrifice, not only just thinking about myself and me wanting to graduate from there, but I realized that I had a passion to serve. And I didn't want to serve any other community but this one. So I made the sacrifices that I had to make so that I could continue to do that. And no one knew any idea what was going on. My entire senior year, I stood there with a smile on my face for the most part, and I kept pushing. And what people don't understand is that it's that support that'll keep us going. Because we have to understand that someone wants to be able to support us just as much as we want to support ourselves. Okay, so it took all of that, and I didn't let it break me, even though it was really close to it. You know, and everybody just said, "Julian, you have a dream, make it to that. You know, make it to that." And there was a lot of tears shed over everything. But the leaders of the community, Ms. Sandra, Mr. Dennis Hall, and everyone else just raised money for all of us. 19 graduating seniors last year received scholarships. And this year, we're looking to graduate hopefully around 30 to 33 seniors. So the goal that the United Foundation of Central Florida, which is a nonprofit organization that I have the honor to work alongside of, you know, throughout all of this, they're pledging another $11,000 this year. So we're trying to raise money to either match that goal, double it, or triple it. Because if you think 19 seniors, that was that whole $10,000. You know, so now there's 30. You know, so the goal is to try to get people in the community who are elected to serve here, you know, and the people who live here to support us. Because if it's not that, you know, where are we going to go? Where are we going to be? If we don't have something that we don't, if we don't have something we don't have, we're not going to have it. That's simple, right? So we could try as hard as we can, but it takes that investment from the people. So if you guys want any information on that to make someone's life like mine to where we can live our dream, you know, you can contact Ms. Sandra Fatme or Mr. Dennis Hall, you know, and we're looking forward to some great stuff happening this year. So thank you for letting me speak.